42-year-old James Kennedy, a Welsh musician apparently, has made a formal complaint to South Wales Police about an interaction with police from the force in which he claims he was punched during a stop search and then subjected to a strip search before being allowed to leave with no apology, no paperwork and no explanation. Well, this is the police. They don't need to give explanations, they copsplain, which may as well be them trying to whistle underwater with a mouthful of cock. Kennedy said that the incident unfolded as he drove home from a gig at the brew house in Cardiff. Now that brew house seems to be a favourite haunt for bully police. He said that as he drove back, the turning from Western Avenue into Ely Road was blocked due to flooding, so he parked in Alfreda Road and at around 9:10 p.m. picked up his phone to let his partner know he would be late home. Within seconds of parking up and beginning to type on my phone, my car was rapidly intruded by three men. One who got into the car via the passenger seat and grabbed my left arm and twisted it behind the driver's seat, and the other two who opened the driver door, took my car keys and grabbed my right hand. I was already sat down with the steering wheel in front of me and a seatbelt on, so my movement was already significantly restricted and both of my hands were now being restrained by men on either side of me. All three of the men were wearing black civilian clothing and two of them were wearing hooded tops, so I couldn't see their whole faces. It was dark on a night with heavy rain, so my visibility was limited, especially as all three of the men entered my car from both sides at the same time and with such speed that I didn't even see them coming. Naturally, my immediate reaction was to think that I was being robbed, so I immediately pleaded with them not to take my phone. My father died in May and my phone contains my last messages and pictures of him, so I desperately pleaded with them not to take my phone. I remember saying, "Take my wallet, take whatever you want, but please don't take my phone." I remember the officer who was restraining my right arm saying that they were police, but I didn't believe him because they were dressed in hoodies and had a regular car parked next to mine, not a police car. Their intrusion into my car was also incredibly intimidating and aggressive, and it felt much more likely to me that this was a group of three men who were robbing me. I was still clutching my phone in my left hand despite my left arm being bent around the back of the driver's chair by the man in the passenger seat, who then punched me in the side of my face. This action, of course, shocked me into dropping my phone, which he then quickly picked up. It became apparent to me that these men now had my phone and my car keys and that I was essentially being bullied into giving them my possessions. So I started screaming for help. Kennedy said he initially thought the men were lying in order to get him out of the car so that they could steal it, although said he didn't physically resist because the men were bigger than him and could have beaten him up easily. Both of my hands were then handcuffed. I was put in the back of a regular non-police car and driven away by two men in regular clothing whilst the third man drove off with my car and phone. Again, I was absolutely terrified for my life, wondering what these men now wanted with me, having already succeeded in robbing me. I was genuinely considering trying to fall out of the moving car in order to escape. They said again that they were police and that I was being taken for a full-body strip search for possession of drugs. This again was an unfathomable notion to me as a boring middle-aged professional man who doesn't use drugs. I'm a clean-living guy who wouldn't even know where to get hold of drugs, so this seemed like a ridiculous lie to me, and I was generally terrified as to what these men now wanted with me. Only when we were at the police station did I begin to calm down. Wow. I mean, this can't be true. Surely he must be making this up. I mean, this kind of thing doesn't happen to honkies, does it? Well, not according to many people anyway. Kennedy said he was driven to Fairwater police station where he allegedly underwent a strip search where nothing was found. He said as the three officers walked me back to my car, one of them joked that I must have taken a good 5 punches earlier on. One of the officers also commented that the station had just received a phone call to report the screaming on Alfreda Road, so at least someone somewhere might have seen or heard something. I then drove home. I didn't recall seeing any body cams on any of the officers. None of my details were taken at the station. In fact, I didn't even see anyone else at the station because the officers took me in and out of the station via a side door. I'm convinced that they hadn't even done a background check before making their moves, because if they did, they would have found that I have no criminal record, a clean driver's licence and a fully legal vehicle. Unfortunately, Kennedy, no criminal record, a clean driver's licence and a fully legal vehicle doesn't mean shit to police, especially if they're having a slow night, pumped up on drugs or angry with their wife, because they will prey on anybody. Chief Superintendent Mark Lenihan, Head of Professional Standards at South Wales Police, confirmed the force has received a complaint following a stop search. He said the force takes such allegations extremely seriously and the matter has been allocated to the Professional Standards Department for sweeping under the carpet. As the investigation is at the early stage, it would not be appropriate to comment on the circumstances of the stop search, or it might be harder to sweep it under the carpet, along with specific allegations being made. Of course, at the moment, this is all James Kennedy's word with no actual evidence of it happening or happening the way that he says it happened, and although I don't doubt it, we will have to wait for further information, specifically from the force itself, who says they are now looking into it. Well, more likely looking for a rug to hide it under, but we live in hope that there are some decent cops out there in Wales who regard this kind of behaviour as disgusting as the rest of us.